Hollywood. Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, bring you the Lux Radio Theater, starring Humphrey Bogart and Greer Garson in The African Queen. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. Irving Cummings.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. When the Academy Award for Best Performance by an Actor was presented last March, a star who had built his reputation with great performances of gangster parts was among those nominated. And Humphrey Bogart won that award with great acclaim in the unusual role of the intemperate skipper of The African Queen. And as his co-star of this John Huston production, we have beautiful Greer Garson, another Academy Award winner. Tonight, Miss Garson will vary her popular role of the charming wife to play a straight-laced spinster. Now, The African Queen, starring Greer Garson as Rose and Humphrey Bogart as Charlie Allnut. The year is 1914, German East Africa, where Rose Sayer and her brother Samuel spread gospel of God. For more than a year, the missionaries have seen only one white man, Mr. Allnut, pilot of the African Queen, a filthy, dilapidated launch that gasps her way up and down the river.
Do we have some more tea, Mr. Allnut?
Thanks, miss. I don't mind if I do. Just listen to this stomach of mine. I mean, the way it keeps growling and squealing, the way it sounds, you'd think I had a hyena inside of me.
You do take sugar?
Queer thing, ain't it? Now, what do you suppose makes a man's stomach carry on like this?
You're planning to stay overnight, Mr. Allnut?
Oh, no, miss. I got to get upriver and back to the mine. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you, I probably won't be coming around this way for a couple of months.
But what about our mail?
Don't look like there's going to be any mail for a while on account of the war.
War? What war? Where?
Europe, miss. Germany and England.
England? You really mean war?
Yeah, that's what they tell me, Reverend.
But what do you know about it? What's happened?
Well, now, let's see. Oh, yes, French are in it, too, and all them little countries, Austria, Hungary, Belgium. I forget who's with who, though.
Oh, brother.
Yes, Rose. I know.
This is German East Africa. We're enemy aliens.
Now, what harm could anybody do the Germans in this God-forsaken place?
God has not forsaken this place, Mr. Allnut, as my brother's presence here will bear witness.
Oh, no offense, miss. Well, I'll be getting aboard the Queen and shoving off. Thanks for the tea, miss.
Goodbye, Mr. Allnut.
Goodbye, and thank you.
Oh, that wretched little man with his foul cigar.
His indifference about the war. He's Canadian. Doesn't he realize he's in this, too?
Shouldn't we try to get to Limbazi? I mean, while we can?
The shepherd does not forsake his flock when the wolves are prowling. We shall stay here, Rose.
Yes, brother. Yes, of course.
Come, dear, come. We shall pray.
Miss, it's me, miss. I come back a lot sooner than I said. Oh. So the Germans have been here, too, eh?
Yes. They've been here, Mr. Allnut.
When I got to the mines at Limbazi, everything was a shamble. Deserted. Burnt to the ground, just like the village here. Reverend around, miss?
My brother is dead.
Oh, well, now ain't that awful. If them Germans will shoot a reverend, there ain't nobody safe.
They were here 3 days ago. They didn't shoot him. They struck him, and his heart was bad, and...
Oh, well, that's certainly too bad, miss. That's all I can say. I tell you what, miss. You get your things together, we'll get aboard the Queen and clear out. Them Germans are sure to come back.
But why? Why should they come back?
Why, they'll be looking for the boat, miss, for the African Queen. She's not much, but they'd give a lot to get their hands on her, you bet. And for what's aboard her, too. Plast and gelatin, tin grub, cylinders of oxygen and hydrogen, Heaps of things I was bringing to the mine.
But where could we go?
Why, out there on the river, miss. Get behind an island where it's quiet and safe. We can talk about what to do then.
I'll get ready.
That's the ticket, miss. You bet. You come with me. Well, miss, so far so good. Here we are, safe and sound, as you might say. A nice shady spot and a nice lonesome spot. The question is, what next?
Quite, Mr. Allnut.
Now, we got heaps of grub aboard, 2,000 cigarettes, and 2 cases of gin.
Gin?
Why, we could sit out the war here if we wanted to. All the comforts of home, miss, including running water.
Mr. Allnut, we simply cannot remain off a backwater island until the war is over.
Can't we now, miss? Well, you've got the map there. Show me a way out and I'll take it.
The British will certainly launch an attack. Now, the only question is, which way will they come?
From the sea, maybe. Up the railway to Limbazi. Well, that'll put all them Germans between them and us.
Might not our troops come up from the Congo?
Miss, look. You see this lake on the map?
Yes.
That's 100 miles of lake. And there ain't nothing going to cross it while the Louise is there.
The Louise?
She's 100-ton steamer, miss, and German. She's boss of the lake because she's got 6-pounders, the biggest guns in Central Africa.
Oh.
We're in a bit of a fix, miss, whichever way you look at it.
This river runs into that lake, does it not?
Yes, miss. Yes, it does. But if you got any ideas of getting there in this launch, you better get rid of them.
Why?
Well, you look at the map, miss. This here is Shona. The Germans have a fort at Shona. They blow us right out of the water, and before that, there's the rapids. 20 miles of water that's like it was coming out of a fire hose.
But it has been done.
Yes, miss, in a canoe. A fellow named Spengler, he almost...
Mr. Allnut, what did you say was in those wooden boxes?
Them's blasting gelatin, miss.
Is it dangerous?
Bless you, no. That's safety stuff. Takes a detonator to set it off.
And what are those long torpedo-like things?
More stuff for the mine. Them's oxygen and hydrogen cylinders, miss.
Mr. Allnut, you're a machinist, aren't you?
Kind of a fixer, miss. Jack of all trades, like they say.
Could you make a torpedo?
How's that, miss?
Could you make a torpedo?
A torpedo? Ask me to make a dreadnought and do it upright, miss. A torpedo? You really don't know what you're asking. Why, there just ain't nothing so complicated as the inside of a torpedo. It's got gyroscopes and compressed air chambers.
But they're only to make it go, aren't they? Well, we've got the African Queen.
How's that, miss?
And if we were to fill those cylinders with that blasting gelatine, and then fix them so that they'd stick out over the end of this boat, and then if we were to run this boat against the side of a ship, well, they'd go off just like a torpedo would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's right, miss.
Well, then we could point the launch towards a ship, and just before she hit, we could dive off, couldn't we?
Sure, miss. Absolutely, only there ain't nothing to torpedo.
Oh, but there is.
Is what?
The Louisa.
The Louisa? Oh, now, don't talk silly, miss. You can't do that. Honest, you can't. I told you before we can't get down the river.
Spengler did.
In a canoe.
If a German did it, we can do it.
Not in no launch, we can't.
Well, how do you know? You've never tried.
Well, I never tried shooting myself in the head, neither.
In other words, Mr. Allnut, you're refusing to help your country in her hour of need.
I wouldn't put it that way.
Just how would you put it?
All right, miss. Have it your own way. But don't blame me for what happens.
Very well, then. Let's get started.
Well, you mean now?
Now.
But there ain't 2 hours of daylight left, miss.
We can go a long way in 2 hours, Mr. Allnut.
But the boiler, the fire's gone out practically. We can't move till we get the old kettle boiling again.
Well, you're well stocked with firewood. Do so.
Refusing to help your country in an hour of need. Could you make a torpedo, Mr. Allnut? Well, do so, Mr. Allnut.
Did you say something, Mr. Allnut?
Mean, miss, I didn't say nothing, miss.